FM.
3FM 92.7.
Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on Ishabata Desa Wakanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Coming up this evening here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Controversial legislative instrument seeking to restrict importation of some items will not be laid in this third session of the 8th Parliament. We'll hear from Information Minister Kojo Ponkroma shortly here on Hot Edition. Also, government justify the mining lease to Barari DV Ghana Limited to mine lithium, even as a minority insists it will subject the deal to scrutiny when it comes to Parliament. We'll hear from John Jinapo, who is the ranking on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, just a minute ago, the 2024 budget has been approved by Parliament. Just a minute ago in Parliament, the majority has had this 2024 budget approved with the numbers of 138 as against the minority who were against the approval of this 2024 budget in its current form, with 136 of the NDC MPs present in Parliament as again the 138 majority in Parliament. So that's what happened just 2 minutes ago. The 2024 budget has been approved by Parliament, and let's start off with that now. And that's information just coming through because the 2024 fiscal and economic policy of government has been approved by Parliament, and it went down to a head count in Parliament, with the majority also having this approved with 138 of their members in Parliament against the minorities 136. And we want to know who exactly was absent in Parliament on the side of the majority. NDC MPs who are 137, but today they were 136. And my colleague and our chief parliamentary correspondent Kamala Kluche is joining us on a telephone directly from the Chamber of Parliament. Kamala, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. Now, we do know the budget has been approved, the 2024 budget has been approved, and the numbers as you gave us earlier, 138 against 136. Who was the NDC MP who was absent?
James Jashikwesen, the Asin North MP, he failed to make it. My understanding is that he's been on medical, or he's been out of the country seeking medical attention even before the presentation of the budget. You will recall, even when his cases are called in court, his lawyers have argued that he is seeking medical attention. The more reason the court is trying him in absentia. So James Jashikwesen failed to make it to the floor of Parliament today to have them. Even if he had come to Parliament, well, it would have been 137 plus one independent, which is the second deputy speaker, who does business with the majority MPP side. And so James Jashikwesen was the only person who failed to come to Parliament to help his colleagues to thwart the effort to have the budget disapproved.
I see. And so what's been the reaction of the minority to this development?
No, there's absolutely no reaction. I mean, for them, even in the morning, theirs was that bring your numbers. They have already marshaled their numbers as of last, in the exception of James Jashikwesen, who is still out of the country. And so when the speaker called that a head count should be given, should be taken, it was very obvious that they knew the numbers that they had. The majority also had to marshal their numbers. In fact, in the morning, we got wind of information that a three-line whip has been issued, and it's the reason why all their members, even those who are out of the country, are back now to the the legislature. And so it was quite obvious that they were going to go strictly with their numbers, and it will be numbers at play. I'm not surprised at the result because it was expected. Looking at the fact that it's been 8 days exactly that they've been trying all efforts to have the budget passed. Finally, Kero Friata can heave a sigh of relief. Finally, Kero Friata can smile. But it's still a long winding time too. I can tell you this is just the first aspect of it. We are aware that the budget is in threefold. We have the policy statement, which has just been passed. Now we have the appropriation and then estimate. And then we have the fees and charges. All of that. So there's still two more steps. But the indication I get from the minority is that they will still give the majority a run for their money, and they would continue to press home the demand and push through the issue of a rejection of it, because it is at the estimate or the budget estimate that a lot of details are in terms of the appropriation to the various sectors. I'm not surprised already. The minority leader has been speaking ahead of this, where he had identified a tax on acquisition. It's also identified some 100 cedis levy on both diesel and all vehicles that will be imported into the country or would actually be driven on the roads. It's very, very, very clear. It's very, very, very clear that there's a lot of work to be done in this, and in the coming days, we will see what details will be exposing and to what extent they will be able to marshal their numbers to stand up to the majority.
I appreciate the time, Kamla. Thank you. Thank you very much. Kamla Kluche is our chief parliamentary correspondent there. Let's cross over live to Parliament now and hear what the Speaker of Parliament is saying after the majority leader, Osechi Mensah Bonsu, also had a statement to make.
So I'll be following up on your behalf on this matter because I deem it that is very dear to the hearts of members. The takeaways are on various areas that members emphasized on the debate, in the debate of the budget. I'm sure you've forgotten, and it's quite a lengthy letter. I can't read all of it, but if you want me to mention some, I will do so. You want a reminder? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you were keenly following the debate, and you indicate that you have stranded out very important components of the debate and transmitted the thinking of the House. Or should I use the opinion of the House to the Minister of Finance? And we believe you, so I think we don't need to go through whatever communication that you have.
I should go through. Yes, Minority Leader.
The Speaker, what was that you paid attention to the debate and you have taken note of key concerns of members, and that you have put in it in a form of a letter to be communicated to the Minister responsible for finance. The Speaker, I think in view of that, that is enough. And so there's no need for you to go through it or read it to us. Maybe you can communicate same accordingly to the Minister responsible for finance.
That's what's happening in Parliament now, and you're still live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. The news is that the 2024 budget, the fiscal and economic policy document of government for the fiscal year 2024, has been approved minutes ago in Parliament with the majority 138 as against the minority's 136 members hearing present in Parliament. So the 2024 budget stands approved. That is the news coming through right now from Parliament. As you heard our Chief Parliamentary Correspondent Komla Kluche giving details of exactly what's been happening in Parliament. James Jachakwesen is the only NDC MP who was absent in Parliament today because, as we do know, he's out of the country receiving medical attention in Canada. And so that's what's happening now. And this led to the approval of this 2024 budget. One other issue that happened in Parliament, remained in Parliament a bit, because the controversial legislative instrument seeking to restrict the importation of some items will not be laid in the third session of the 8th Parliament. Now, this follows stiff resistance from the minority NDC, the Ghana Union of Trade Association, GUTA, the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, and other interest groups. The Association of Ghana Industries had backed the proposal to restrict the importation of selected strategic products into the country. The AGI had argued that the LI would complement Ghana's industrialization drive and also ensure healthy competition between local and foreign companies in this country. But let's take a listen to Information Minister Kojo Ponkroma speaking about why the bill will not see the light of day in this session of Parliament.
The laying of the legislative instrument is being suspended to enable the various stakeholder groups who have still got outstanding issues to have those issues discussed and hopefully addressed before the next line of action is taken on that particular policy. I mean, these consultations usually are meetings, and as the minister mentioned, there have been a lot of meetings that have taken place with the various stakeholders. And that he even had assurances from the minority before he was to bring the instrument onto the floor. And you know, because it's an LI, it's not going to be amended when it is laid. But subsequent to, you know, the attempts to lay it, there have been questions, issues that have been raised, and consequently, he's going to engage some more before the next line of action. Cabinet has not met since the last time when he shared the information on what was within the LI and that it was coming to Parliament. But I think as we are here, we engage, we listen, we have a sense of the importance of this policy.
So that's Kojo Ponkroma there. And one of the groups that has vehemently opposed this LI is the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Samson Asakia Wingobit is Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Mr. Wingobit, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. This must come to you of some relief, is it not, that this LI will not be laid in this session of Parliament?
Thank you very much. Well, I wouldn't say that it's a relief to us, but I strongly believe that it is prudent the government pull it out and then you do as the broader engagement consultation with us, take our bite into it, and then we can come back to Parliament again if possible. But from where I sit, I really strongly believe that the government does not need any ally to make things work. If only we truly and really want to increase productivity in this country, and then let us engage to use Ghana made or Ghana produced. Our people are very readily available to do the distribution of Ghana product. All what government should do is give the needed input to the farmers, give them the kind of investment that they want, give them the policies. Then, of course, our people will be ready to take the product and then do distribution. We have no problem. Our people have no problem in doing distribution of Ghana made. So, yes, we said we raised a lot of issues in regards to the composition of committee, raise issues how giving 22 line item to one person to regulate it. We raise issues in regards to even sugar and other commodities that you're talking about. What are the statuses that we have? Where is the availability? Where are they, the locations? We asked so many questions, and we expect government to come back for the consultation, and then at the end of the day, we will all meet at the page. I strongly believe that we are not just raising arms against government. All what we want is the legitimate issues that we raise. Government should come and tell us. Then we will also propagate it for our people, escalate it. Then our people can go and then buy the product. We do not want to know that tomorrow Ghanaian will wake up in the morning, he will carry fiscal cash and he cannot get to buy. It's better you have food and you don't have money. For that, you can even go to your brother, your sister, your uncle, your D2, and even a friend. To say, look, I'm hungry and I don't have money. They will support you with money to go and buy food and to say that I am having fiscal cash, but I cannot find food to buy. Because why? Why? Because it has been now regulated and there's only one person who has it now. When the minister decided to say, I won't give you a permit, I won't give you a license, then one cannot go and import. That is what we are trying to avoid.
See, but what are the specific considerations you expect to be taking in as these conversations about the LI goes on after today, before it is remade in Parliament?
Well, we think if there will even be a committee, the committee should have. We do not see this current LI. The committee does not have. It does not give the committee independence. The Minister of State has the oversight responsibility over them. When the committee start on applications and even approve or say that you're satisfied with your application, you are entitled to do an import. It is the minister who has to sign it to close the deal. And in the absence of the minister, in this current LI, there's nowhere is stated that in the absence of the minister, his deputy or his chairperson or whoever can approve it. We strongly believe that is a lacuna in the LI. And we are also saying that why should they even restrict it? Why should they, there's no need for them to restrict it. And so they should just make things easy. We are in a liberal economy. All what we are saying that our people are ready to do the distribution of goods that is being produced here and that is being also manufactured here. So we are very, very available. We think that we do not need any allies to regulate it. I mean, we have gone past that. Even the current IMF deal from this says that you cannot restrict. And so what are we to restrict when we know that we are even in the hands of the IMF?
I see. But I do know that this week you had, and very quickly, you had a meeting with the Subsidiary Legislative Committee of Parliament that is considering this particular bill. What are the specific issues that came out of that meeting, quickly?
Well, they listened to us, they listened to our grievances, they give us the opportunity to do our presentation. And we said we are not that we are against it, but the infrastructure itself is not there. The cost of feeding poultry and the cost of one fowl in the market is costing about 150, 130. We don't think that, and we don't even have it. And so what we ask, even if there should be an ally, is there's nothing like a moratorium. Say, okay, we are giving ourselves 2 years to wind up. We are giving ourselves 3 to 4 years time, but then we will have enough sufficient product, and we can see we will reduce the quantities. We are bringing rice over 800,000 metric tons. Are we producing 500,000 metric tons? So that we'll be given the permit to bring the 300,000. This is poultry. We are bringing 9 million. And do you how many million? Do you produce 5 million? And you'll be given a permit to bring the 4 million. These are some of the legitimate questions we are asking. And the cost of production, be it rice, be it poultry, we know how much the poultry farmers are complaining about how much they buy maize and soya beans. Has government given so much money to the farmers to be able to produce at a cheaper, so that the farmers will feed the poultry and stuff like that. So these are sort of things that have been raised in the country. I think I have to go here because other media have also called me Alfred.
Well on. I thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. That's Samson Asakia Wingobe there. So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Remember, your thoughts are welcome as we're streaming live on Facebook at 3FM 927 as well as on X at 3FM 927. You can join us with your thoughts, your views, comments and opinions, and we'll definitely get them out to the rest of the world. Let's go into another matter that has also been very topical today. It's lithium. This conversation has been going on for quite a while, and today, as we do know, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, has justified the granting of a 15-year mining lease to Barari DV Ghana Limited. Now, a subsidiary of Atlantic Lithium Limited to commence the construction and mining of lithium at Ewoya in the Infantiman municipality of the Central Region. Now, the lease incorporates new and enhanced terms intended to ensure that the country benefits optimally from this mineral. Here is the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo speaking at a media engagement earlier today.
When they reported commercial find of lithium, government took a decision not to treat this mineral in the same manner in which others had been treated in the past. We therefore decided to make a policy for the exploitation and management of lithium and other green minerals of our country before any form of negotiations will commence. To make the development of the policy more participatory, on 13 July 2022, I presented to Parliament, on behalf of government, a statement setting out the general framework of the proposed policy for the development, management, and exploitation of the green minerals in our country. Following input from honorable members of Parliament and other stakeholders, a policy was developed by the ministry and submitted to Cabinet, which after intense scrutiny, critique, and inputs, approved a reviewed policy on 27th July 2023. The approved policy includes provisions for an increase in the royalties rate for green minerals, an increase in state and Ghanaian participation in all green mineral operations to a minimum of 30%, just like Geodec and Gisdec, just like bauxite and iron ore, to a minimum of 30%. An enhanced local content and local participation, including listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and value addition and beneficiation for all green minerals in our country. It was based on this policy that we entered into negotiations with the company, leading to the signing of the mining lease. Ladies and gentlemen, respectfully, let me forcefully state that this lease differs from all previous mining leases in many respects. It is the first time in the history of our country that we have successfully negotiated for 10% royalties for any mineral, which is one of the highest for exploitation of any mineral across the globe. We have already secured a 19% state participation in this mining company, 19%, with a requirement to scale it up to a minimum of 30% Ghanaian participation through listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange for shares to be made available to Ghanaians and Ghanaian entities. What this simply will mean is that when it is all over, Barari DV Limited, the holder of this mineral right of lithium, Ghanaian and state participation will be 30%. Foreign participation will be a maximum of 70%, but Ghanaian participation will be a minimum of 30%.
So that's Samuel Abujinapo, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. In there. Meanwhile, minority in Parliament is saying they will scrutinize the deal when it comes before Parliament to ensure it benefits the country. His brother, on the other side, John Jinapo, is ranking on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. He spoke earlier today.
Article 268 of the 1992 Constitution is explicit, and it states that any transaction, including but not limited to the application for a license to exploit a natural resource, requires prior parliamentary approval. On this note, I want to make it loud and clear and succinct and explicit that the agreement between the government of Ghana and Barari DV should be laid before Parliament without delay. And let me assure the people of Ghana that the minority would not let you down. We would scrutinize the agreement. We would not allow this agreement to be rushed through. We would seek the guidance, the involvement of civil society. We will speak to important personalities, including former Chief Justice, Justice Sophia Akufu, who has been vocal on this lithium agreement. The new order is lithium. Lithium is more profitable than gold. Lithium is more profitable than diamond, and the world order is moving to this green mineral. And so the minority would insist that Ghana benefits from this resource, and that the terms and agreements, if they are not in the interest of Ghana, the minority would kick against that.
So that's John Jinapo, who is the brother of Samuel Abu Jinapo, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. John Jinapo is the ranking on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, talking there about exactly what the minority will do is what they have communicated. They are going to scrutinize this deal if it comes before Parliament. Seth Wolashime is a mining consultant. He's joining us as well. So Wolashime, I know this is a conversation you've been following for quite a while now, and now the decision by the minority in Parliament to ensure the scrutiny of this deal when it comes before the House. The minister has indicated that this deal will certainly need parliamentary ratification. What are the questions that you expect Parliament to ask of this deal to the benefit of the Ghanaian people?
Good evening. Good evening, Alfred Ocansey, and good evening to your cherished listeners. You see, my brother, when politicians speak, you should be very careful. I listened to the minister speak, and he's saying currently they have acquired 19% stake. What is the value of that 19% stake that government has acquired? We need to know. Number two, he's saying that government will be able to acquire a minimum of 30%. And he says minimum, mark my words. And the leaseholders will acquire a maximum of 70%. So, watch it. If you say a minimum of 30%, it means that the government can acquire more than 30%. So, why is he saying that the holders of the lease will have a maximum stake of 70%? So you see, there are certain things that are not clear. Now, number two, he spoke about value addition and beneficiation and all that. All I want to know is that what are the plans of adding value, processing the ore here into an oxide or whatever, and then going ahead to use that raw material to manufacture lithium batteries, which are essential for the electric car industries. We need to have the details of all that. Now, the minority is also talking, and generally, these days, I don't want to believe politicians. They are also saying they're going to scrutinize the agreement. But we have all kinds of examples where, at the end of the day, they are giving envelopes and then they sign on to bogus agreement. I hope that this time around, they are not going to go that route. And they are going to consult people who are knowledgeable, who understand these kind of and have negotiated these agreements in the past to be able to help them to get the best deal for this country. Lithium is a mineral of the 21st century. And this opportunity that we have, we shouldn't blow it again, because God has not brought us anything in this country in terms of development. You go to Obuasi today, you will weep. You go to Takwa and its environs, you know, it's a disaster. So this time, don't get it wrong.
I see. So, are you asking that the civil society, for instance, and experts like you should be roped into the process of consultation so as to get the specific details of this agreement and whether or not to benefit the Ghanaian people entirely?
Absolutely. And in the spirit of transparency, the agreement must be made public. so that the Ghanaians will know, and people who have experience and expertise in those areas will be able to close any loopholes that are contained in these agreements to our detriment, so that we will make the maximum out of it. When the president came with a policy of Ghana beyond aid, I was so happy. And this is an agreement that can make us achieve that. I don't know the reason why we cannot be 50-50 partner. We don't have a 50-50 joint ventureship with this company that is coming to develop the mine.
In fact, when I asked this question of the Minerals Commission boss, he made the point that the reason why, whenever this comes up, we cannot have this 50% stake is that these companies, multinational companies, spend their money investing in exploration and then also the process of the discovery of these minerals, because we don't have, or we haven't invested our resources in there. So, for instance, with this Bavaria Limited, this lithium find, according to the Minerals Commission, some $50 million was invested in exploration processes to even identify how much of the lithium deposits we have as a country. And they also spent some money collecting the seismic data because Geological Survey Department doesn't have it. So while we are asking for the 50%, do we have the wherewithal? Have we invested as well as a country in the process of collecting data about the mineral deposits that we even have as a country? You recall that when we discovered oil in commercial quantity, Russia indicated they had our seismic data on all the oil deposits across the country that even we didn't have. Mr. Olashime?
Yeah, basically, I think that there is a point in that assertion. But you see, as a country, we need to prioritize certain things. And what stops us from, borrowing money to be able to invest or maybe pay part of their exploration, expense, and negotiate. So I'm saying that we have to put our money where our mouth is. That is the crux of the matter. Because if we don't, and we don't negotiate a good agreement, at the end of the day, we will have this green mineral, and with all its important uses in this day and age, we will still not be able to make much out of it. I applaud them for getting a royalty of 10%, which added to the current 19%, works out to like maybe 30% thereabout, 29. You see, so at least, well, they have done well, but we need to know the nitty-gritty, because processing and value addition and manufacture of lithium batteries should be part of this deal. Otherwise, we can't go for it.
So, I appreciate your time and thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Seth Olashime is a mining consultant. Join us there here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Well, you recall John Jenapo mentioning Sophia Akufo as a former Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, insisting that government ought to be transparent about the deal. She spoke to me on Ghana Tonight a couple of days ago on this matter.
There are certain best practices that need to be followed so that by the time you're signing the agreement, even certainly the member of parliament in that area must know the terms of it. And the people who matter must know the terms of what's contained here, not what you will tell them verbally.
Well, so you agree with not just civil society, but the larger Ghanaian populace, members of parliament, and even the chiefs and people in these areas that the lithium has been discovered, that there's very little transparency and little information about this lithium deal and the engagement that government has been having with the company in question, and then also other interests so far?
I think so. Yes, I believe so. In the terms of this agreement, before it was signed, Well, now we know it's a public document. Anybody who wants access to it, I suppose, can apply for a copy. You're calling it a mining lease agreement. You're calling it a lease, but basically it's not much different from all these concessions that we've been lumped with since the time of Gettysburg.
But what, in your view, can Parliament do to ensure that Ghanaians are not shortchanged in this lithium deal and our interests as Ghanaians are upheld over and above any political or selfish interest of government?
But who's the government? It should have been to the advantage of the people of Ghana, isn't it? Yes. There is that penchant, and part of it is even because of the system, the governance system, and unfortunately, which seems to have been encouraging silos. You know, you're going this way, I am going this way, he's going this way, she's going this way, and we're all going in the same direction, but we're barely talking to each other until, so everybody's going in a separate car, and then we meet at the final destination. Okay, I didn't know you. We're also coming here, really, because there's that penchant which also even exacerbates the matter, and that's such poor management method. And in the end, what is governance other than management? It's either good management or bad management.
Sophia Kofo there, and that conversation with me on Ghana Tonight a couple of days ago on TV3 at 10 p.m. But also on this matter, we're having a number of the society organizations that have waded in, also asking specific questions about the details of it. They want the Minerals Commission, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, to have a broader consultation process to ensure that the details of this deal benefit the Ghanaian people. Well, a year away from today, December 7, should be December 7, 2024. Elections would have, the polls would have closed by now. That's 5:38. But then again, millions of Ghanaians would have had the opportunity to vote to elect 276 members of parliament. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a new constituency created for the people of Sal. That's the Guan constituency. So we'll have 276 MPs in the 9th Parliament of this 4th Republic. And then a new president, because President Akufo-Addo is not going to contest. Now, President Akufo-Addo, ending his constitutionally mandated 4-year term on January 6, 2025, Ghanaians will have to elect the successor on December 7, 2024. With exactly a year to the polls, the governing New Patriotic Party says it is poised to break the 8 despite challenges with the economy. Haruna Mohammed is a Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party.
We were battled already immediately 2020 elections were declared. So our preparations are on board. The works that we are doing it to satisfy the people of Ghana because of the social contracts we have with them. So we will be going back to them based on what we have done, and we'll be accounting this to them. So for us, the period of election or the time that is left is not a matter of concern. What concerns us is to get back to the people, speak to them, let them understand where we are, let them appreciate our governance system, give them the alternative solutions that we have to where we are today. And I think that the people of Ghana will buy into that.
Well, you heard Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, but the main opposition NDC says Ghanaians will not struggle to make a decision on December 7, 2024. Sami Jemfi is National Communications Officer of the NDC.
Which of the candidates can you trust? Which of them has done it before? Where we are requires a steady hand that can steer us out of the mess we find on our hands. This is the time for experience and not experiments. This is a time for honest, sincere, trustworthy leaders. This is a time for visionary leaders, not people who are only experts in destroying economies. That by the grace of God, vast majority of the Ghanaian electorate will buy into this agenda and give us another opportunity to serve this nation and serve this nation truly.
Samajan for there. Now, we're going to be joined by Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere shortly, who is a political analyst and also a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, joining us shortly on this matter. But a number of you as well have been sharing your thoughts. We've been engaging the views of some students from the University of Ghana, Legon, on this matter.
One thing that is going to influence my vote going to the election is the issue of unemployment, as I've stated, and that of inflation, price control. I am not blaming the government, but I think systems should be put in place to check on our retailers and the wholesalers. I don't know. My vote is going to be a comparison between the two political parties.
Because I don't see why I should vote.
You don't see why you should vote? Why is that?
Because I don't think anybody is worth my vote.
Policy, some of the policies that these people who wants to be our president will bring on board. That's one of the things we look up to when electing our leaders. So the policy, if I like it, then. But looking at how situations are currently, what specifically would influence your thought or your voting patterns?
Somebody who creates more jobs. Yeah, that's what would really influence my vote pattern. Somebody who creates more jobs.
So those are some members, general public, sharing their thoughts on this. Now, Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere is joining us on the telephone. Doc, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. First of all, it's just a year away from election 2024, and a lot of the people who will be speaking to in this survey we just played say, given the opportunity, they would vote differently. Most of them, against the ruling government. Is it just about incumbency fatigue?
Thank you, my brother Alfred. Good evening to your listeners. I think that I have granted a similar interview on one of your sister stations in Kumasi, Greater Kumasi, so to speak. And it appears to me that when there is a huge voter apathy, it usually affects the party that is in government, and there is nothing that they can do. It paints the opposition, in a very good light, unlike the party in government, a very gloomy one. And so I'm not surprised that having listened to, the youth of today, they seem to be shifting against the party that is in government. Now, the simple argument is that not too long ago, you are probably not 18 years, you are still schooling at the probably middle cycle education. Now, when you used to go to school, your parents used to give you a certain amount. Now, they are giving you the same amount, but you're not able to buy the things that you used to buy. Or the amount that they give you has reduced. And that really affects that small economy of yours. That is a reality. And there is nothing atmospheric science about this. That is a reality. So I'm not surprised that you have the youth, of course. Youth is very important when it comes to, national elections. And once you begin to hear things of that nature, you are in trouble. And of course, don't forget that the youth may be either in the lower bracket of the economy, middle bracket based upon their parents, and then the upper bracket. And so if you have situations like, this thing that we just did, debt exchange program, DDEB or something of that, domestic debt exchange program, and then this has virtually affected the microeconomy of virtually those who have gone on retirement, those who are nearing retirement, those who are in the middle class. Then obviously it will impinge negatively on those in the lower classes. And that is very huge. And there is no one
that ought to bear the brunt of the blame, other than the party that is in government. And so it becomes a little difficult, for the party that is in government. And there's nothing new and nothing strange in the sayings and pronouncements of the youth.
Dr. Asante, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for this. And Dr. Jonathan Asante is a political analyst and lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. This is Hot Edition. We're live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and also on W93.5 in Y and Beyond. We're back shortly after this quick break. Juliana Menu Afo is standing by with the business news.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to tonight's edition of the business segment on Hot Edition. In our first story, straight to that, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, has defended the current state of Ghana's lithium contracts, asserting that it is in the country's best interest, despite criticism suggesting that Ghana could have secured a better deal through improved negotiations. The minister stood firm during a press conference, highlighting that the contract terms rank among the finest globally.
In everything we have done with this mining lease, in all humility and modesty, the interest of the Ghanaian people has been paramount. It has been months of thorough negotiations and hard work in respect of this transaction. Nothing has been agreed to casually. Everything has been thought through and everything has been worked out and all the options have been considered. And what we've arrived at is in the ultimate interest of the good people of Ghana. The government of President Akufo-Addo remains committed to the prudent, effective, and efficient management of the natural resources of our country, which have been entrusted to us, and doing so in the spirit of transparency, integrity, candor, and utmost good faith for the benefit of our nation. We remain focused on this goal and call on you all, nationals and residents of our country, to support government in this quest.
Samuel Abu-Jinapor is the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. On to more stories. A tax and regulatory services partner at Deloitte Ghana, Gideon Ayi-Owu, has reiterated the need for small and medium-scaled enterprises to take their bookkeeping seriously to take advantage of existing tax breaks. According to him, proper bookkeeping also helps SMEs access cheaper sources of credit. He spoke to the media during the Access Bank Graphic Business SME Clinic and Fair, which focused on running sustainable businesses in a challenging economic climate.
For VAT, it's both the output and the inputs. So you have to be able to substantiate all the expenses that you are going to get your input VAT deduction for. Are they right? Are they falling within the ambit of the law, for example? And also when it comes to corporate income tax, you should have your basis. So in terms of your bookkeeping, but also evidence for expenditure that you've incurred. So are there invoices, receipts, all of this? Do you have evidence to show it so that at the end of the year, you not just say, I made a profit or sales of X amount, but you have all the records available to show for it. And when you do all this, should there be the knock of the tax man at your office or any GRA tax audit I think you are on a better stead to be able to pass all these exams or GRE or this that come with a proper bookkeeping.
Tax and Regulatory Services partner at Deloitte Ghana, Gideon Ayi Owu. Away from that, the Ghana National Service Scheme has signed an agreement with Agri-Impact Consult targeted at increasing food production. The project, which was funded by the Masterclass Foundation, is expected to generate about $200 million per annum in import substitution at the end of 4 years. Daniel Akwe is Chief Executive of Agri-Impact Consult.
The project is not only focusing in just creating jobs for youth, but it is concerned in improving and increasing agricultural production in Ghana. And we have a target of increasing food production by 189,000 tons of the value chains that we have mentioned and 12,000 tons of poultry. And at the end of 4 years, we anticipate to generate over $200 million per annum in the form of import substitution. So we have job creation, we have production of food crops, and then we also have import substitution, all coming together within this project. This is the first time, according to the Mastercard Foundation, that they are using a local firm to implement a project of this sort. Normally, they fall on international organizations. And it is amazing that this project is their largest project for the year, the biggest project the foundation is implementing or rolling out for the year.
Chief Executive of Agribusiness Consult, Daniel Akwe, there, and that brings us to the end of tonight's edition of the business segment on Hot Edition. My colleague Bill Ishen is standing by for the sports news. Hi, Bill.
Hello. Thank you for the business news menu. My name is Bill Ishen, and this is the time for the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. And we're going to start off from the CAF Champions League because Mediama are set to face Tanzanian side Young Africans on Friday at the Babayara Sports Stadium at 4 p.m. Now, Mediama head coach Evans Adote has said that he will not underrate his upcoming opponents.
We've worked on creating depth in defense and then making sure we don't concede this time. Thinking of or working on defensive, you still have to think forward. We want to win the game. So like I'm saying, we are facing a good side. I will not underrate my opposition. All that I want to say is we've also mapped strategy to make sure by the close of the day, the field will decide. And it is not me per se. The coach, I'm not going to play. The goalkeeper is there, my players are there. They will have to tell the whole nation or younger what we also have under our sleeves.
That was Evans Adote, the head coach of Mediama. Now, football legend Abedi Pele has opened up about how his sons Jordan and Andre Ayew are treated by Ghanaians when playing for the senior national team, the Black Stars. The 1993 Champions League winner with Marseille believes it was the same treatment that he experienced during his playing days.
Wrong. They've never got it wrong. But what I can say is, they've never left me alone. When I was playing, it was the same. So I have nothing wrong with it. It's because they know you have it and you can do it. That is why they come at you. If you don't have it, nobody will call your name. If you are determined and you are good, everybody will come.
That was Abedi Ayew Pele. Now, to women's football, the Black Queens returned from South Africa today and were greeted by excited fans after securing a place in the Women's AFCON. Executive Council member Gifty Owari has stated that they are now focusing on a place in Paris 2024 Olympics.
We are taking a match a step at a time. So, as at last night, we had a long conversation with Nora. She's bringing us her proposals for February's matches right from tomorrow. So after the ESCO meeting, we'll be able to find a stretch of what exactly she wants to do and the plans she has for it. So for us, it's just a step at a time. We are not crashing all the games together. We are just taking a step at a time. We have Zambia to win, and after we are able to qualify from Zambia, we may play either Algeria or Morocco. Any of them, I think by the time we play, we'll be ready to win.
That was Gifty Owari, an executive council member of the GFA, representing women's football. Now, Ghanaian female footballers Comfort Yeboah and Jennifer Wusua have made the final shortlist for the CAF Awards ahead of that competition in Morocco. Now, Yeboah has been nominated for the Female Young Player of the Year, whilst Owusua's screamer in the Women's CAF Champions League made the list for the Goal of the Year. The Ampim Dakwa duo are the only nominees from Ghana. Now, the CAF Awards is expected to happen in a few days on Friday at Morocco. And so we'd expect these two players to actually get awards for Ghana. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Billy Shen. And up next is entertainment with Ajwa Noela.
Well, good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Noella Donko. Now, while netizens keep complaining about the lack of Grammy nominations and wins in Ghana, rapper Papi Kojo has said that he didn't know Ghanaians could file for Grammy nominations. In his defense, he mentioned that anytime the Grammy conversation came up, Nigerians were being mentioned, hence it never occurred to him that Ghanaians could file for the nominations. Now, he said, I didn't even know Ghanaians had reached where we get nominated for Grammys. I don't know. I'm just saying because, you know, when it comes to Grammys, it's always Nigerians. They always mention Nigerians. I didn't even know Ghanaians. It's our turn. That's a very interesting one. But on to more stories. Looks like the world of possibilities have been unlocked as Ghanaian journalist and women empowerment advocate Ifwa Asantwa Edunum has received approval from the Guinness World Records to attempt the longest individual sing-a-thon. Now, the current record is 105 hours held by Sunil Wangmari from India in 2012. Now, Ifwa aims for a minimum of 117 hours with a maximum target of 120 hours. According to Ifwa, she's going to be singing only Ghanaian songs as a way of celebrating them. From high life to hip life to gospel, she will sing each of these songs for not more than 2 minutes, and she's allowed to repeat the said songs only after 4 hours per the rules. We're wishing her the very, very best. Now, Ghanaian gospel singer Sonny Badu has said that he slightly disagrees with his colleague Nathaniel Bassey's comment on Ghanaian artists having to sing more in English to attract global impacts. Now, according to the former, he believes once it's your time to go global and there's that oil on your head, you will make the impact. He further added that the same way Ghanaians invite Nigerian gospel artists to grace the stage, if the gesture was reciprocated, it will be better. Now, he's not the only person that's disagreeing, as Celestine Donko has also come out to say that she believes Nathaniel Bassey made that statement out of guilt. The fact that he organized a show in Ghana and had a lot of Nigerian artists headlining the show. Well, definitely will bring you the end of this discussion. But that's it for the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Noella Donko, and a very big thank you to you for spending your 1 hour with us here on the show. Tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., Alfred Ocansey will be right here, bringing you all the details in the world of news. Do enjoy the rest of the evening.